Persian bastard.
Pay attention!
Dramatic, nigga.
Trendsetter.
Yes!
Trendsetter.
Yeah, better keep that over there. Better keep that over there. Better keep that over there. You better keep that over there. Better keep that over there. You better keep that. Better keep that.
Yo, you got your hand in my face now, right? You got your hand in my face now, right?
You want something to say to me, man? Say it to me, man. What? What, man?
Do you guys know who I am?
Please let me see your hands on the ground. Keep that on the ground.
Hey, so tell me something.
We asked the questions.
I'm just curious. I mean, what brought y'all into us?
Long story. A lot of twists.
No doubt. No doubt.
I'm Nicole Steele with the Department of Justice. In a city of 620,000, BPD cops reported over 300,000 pedestrian stops in the last 5 years.
You guys have locked up and beat on someone.
What's going on, YouTube? We back in the Low Key Cave, Keyshawn Dimes YouTube page, aka Mr. Low Key, and we are back with another TV show review. And we got the review of We Own This City. This is a limited series, and we got our first episode review. Like I said, being that the people who did The Wire did this, you talking about David Simon, Ed Burns, I was definitely looking forward to this. And not only that, the fact that they was doing it in Baltimore, having it based around the whole cop situation, looking like it's going to have them same similarities to The Wire show. I was almost looking like we was about to get that season 6 of The Wire that we never got. But I was definitely looking forward to this, man. But opening in this episode, we are introduced to John Bethrall's character Wayne Jenkins just as a beat cop, but seeing the reaction to everybody he walks by sets the tone for who he is and what he's capable of. Immediately seeing him just smash the bottle out of a gentleman's hands and going back and forth through scenes where he's pretty much just giving a speech to other officers about when and where you can pretty much whoop a suspect ass. It says a lot just in the opening minutes of this episode. And like I said, as far as this show, We Own This City, we are following a gun trace task force led by John Bethrall's character, Sergeant Wayne Jenkins, based out of Baltimore. Immediately, the portrayal of this character, Wayne Jenkins, steals the show as far as John Bethrall's portrayal of this character. I'm telling you, man, it's just seeing his maneuvers, seeing his expressions, the way he running this whole group as far as this gun trace task force, as far as people going after drug dealers. They really trying to get weapons off the streets. But it's not only that, just seeing him as a beat cop, the way he's walking by these certain individuals, the look on their face, the way they walk by him, like it's more fear than anything. Like, it's crazy, man. And like I said, it's the performance by John Bethrall, and I'm pretty much know we just getting just the fresh and just a half of what he's going to be doing as far as this show go. But like I said, this is going to be definitely somebody as far as a villain that I love to hate. But watching him talking in the Baltimore accent effortlessly, and his look and the way his presence is felt, is definitely one of the scene stealers of the first episode, man. But like I said, going into this is based off a book, We Own This City, a true crime, a true story of crime. But it exposes the corruption and moral collapse that befalls the American city, in which the policies of drug prohibition and mass arrests are championed at the expense of actual police work. And like I said, even watching some of this first episode, it took you back to those moments of The Wire. You know, you had my man McNulty, who was always talking about you got them out here trying to cheat the stats, going after these low-level arrests instead of going after big drug dealers. You see them still having these same similarities, and this is of 2015, 2017, and that's another thing. Surrounding this show, we are doing time jumps going between 2015 and 2017. And that's, like I said, where we start off the show as far as watching John Bethrall's character as far as Sergeant Wayne Jenkins and his introduction to his character. We then, though, jump over to 2017 as far as we getting this interrogation of this gentleman who I do not know nothing about. It's just 2 FBI agents investigating this guy. So we do get this scene, and it's just curious to see what's going on with this part, because this is leading out of, like I said, still standing to 2017 as far as our introduction to John Bethrall's character, but it's the time jumps for me because this whole situation as far as this show is surrounding the Freddie Gray situation and the death, as far as the Freddie Gray situation, his death in 2015, and that's where we getting these time jumps. But that's where we jump, like I said, from this investigation to our introduction into Nicole Steele and Ahmad Jackson. And they're brought in from the Justice Department as far as the Civil Rights Division to monitor the Baltimore Police Department in the wake of the Freddie Gray death. There's even mention of the Hillary Clinton and Trump president election, and you know all the politics that go into that, especially when a certain situation going on like this, especially depending on who win, when you got Republicans and Democrats. So that was real interesting to see them bring that into play. But leading from there, we get introduced, going into, like I said, this is a time jump, so we are still into 2015. We get introduced to two other cops. And they're investigating a situation where it's a bad batch of heroin going around. And this ends up leading to a whole bigger situation, which they're not even knowledgeable about at the moment. But it's the fact that we're going, like I said, back and forth. And that's where we get introduced to the early days of the gun trace task force in 2015, where John Bethral's character is not even around at the moment. But like I said, when we introduce to them, it's like one of them is being already investigated. And that's when I'm like, oh, so this guy's a cop, which I did not know, because even before we find out they cops, they are out about to do they are not about to do a crime, they are committing a crime. They are sitting here about to rob a drug dealer. And when I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh, so they must be other drug dealers basically going after another drug dealer and robbing him. Or they on that Omar shit, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, this is The Wire. So it depends, man. Like I said, you know, the whole thing with Omar was doing when he was basically just robbing drug dealers. They could have been on that type of time, and they kind of had those similarities, especially my man that's being investigated right here. So it did kind of remind me of my man The Wire. Like I said, once again, shout out to The Wires, and shout out to the people behind The Wire that's doing this show. But when we are introduced to them, like I said, you do not even know they cops, and once we find out they cops, it's like, oh, so this is something that's been going on for a very long time. Very long time. We then stay into 2015, where we are introduced to another cop named Daniel Hurst. And this is where we got Nicole Steele pretty much trying to find out this certain cop who is still out on the streets but got over like 50 complaints. And we even get like this nigga, like you talking about John Bethral's character, Sergeant Wayne Jenkins. This motherfucker on some different type of time as far as just his tactics and the way he go about his job. And this is where we get our little cameo, shout out to Slim. But like I said, one thing about it is everybody from The Wire, I feel like if you was a drug dealer on The Wire or anything like that, it's like they got reversal roles for them on this show. Anybody that was playing a character as far as a drug dealer on The Wire is basically playing a cop, or they're playing a regular civilian on this show. And that's where we got, like I said, my man right here as far as Slim coming in making that cameo. But he's basically just riding with his son. He's pulled over by this cop, Daniel Hurst. And he's just pretty much being harassed. My man taking his wallet, throwing all his cards and everything on the ground. And that's where you got Nicole Steele is pretty much going around trying to find out why this guy's still on the force. And she's pretty much coming into the play of them bringing up the whole stat thing. But this is in the wake of Freddie Gray's death. So you got them pretty much saying you got a lot of cops out here that's pretty much quitting. People are not doing their jobs the same way because they're being noticed. Well, they're being watched so much now. People are watching them because of the Freddie Gray situation, and people are filming them and everything now. So they're pretty much trying to either leave their job or they're not trying to stick to their job. But then you got an officer out here like a Daniel Hurst who doesn't care about none of that, and the fact that he's still racking up arrests pretty much makes them what they would say valuable still to the job. So that part is pretty crazy, man. And it's just seeing her facial expressions like I got on here, and just seeing the way she talking like how, and we as an audience are sitting there looking like yes, nigga, how, man. But yeah, we are introduced to that. But then, like I said, we're doing these time jumps, and then we get back going into 2017. And before we get back to that, we're still doing the investigation as far as the cop, which we didn't, like I said, I didn't know nothing about that he was a cop. But we got him still explaining to the FBI agents certain situations and everything that's going on as far as what he was a part of. And it's going to get interesting to see them moving forward as far as this, because I'm pretty sure this is going to be a thing that's going moving forward. But besides him, we jump back into my man as far as John Bethral's character, Sergeant Wayne Jenkins, and him pretty much giving a speech about the siege they just did. But it's like there's certain things going on, and you see how people are acting once he get done with the speech, and I'm like, why is everybody acting so funny? And then you got one of the captains giving somebody a note and telling him, IDD, or basically Internal Affairs, need to talk to John Bethel's character, Sergeant Wayne Jenkins. And he's like, it's a normal routine or whatever. But it's really the scene, man. Once again, I'm talking about John Bethel's character, his portrayal of this character, what he's able to pull off and what he's as capable of, man. And it's just him once again leading into the situation after he's done, like I said, doing what he's doing, but it's leading once again to his arrest. It's just the expression on his face, the disbelief and the blankness in his eyes, like nothing is there. And when his captain walks in and just look at him, he just looks at him. He don't even say nothing. He just looks at him, and he walks out like fuck. He just say fuck. Like this nigga right here, it's like he don't give a like. It's not that he don't give a fuck. It's like he's like, how? Why? I've done nothing wrong. I am untouchable. I am invincible. And once again, it's that expression on his face. It's that look. It's the performance of John Bethel just sitting there with that blank look on his face. Just nothing. It's nothing. And like I said, once again, once that captain walks into the room and look at him, he ain't got no words for him. He's just looking at him. And you got my man John Bethel just sitting there with that expression on his face. He just looking at him like that, just looking at him. Like almost like dark eyes, like bro, almost like on some goddamn shark eyes on Jaws shit. Like I'm serious. I just looking at that scene, and I rewinded it back. I was just looking at this scene. Look at his expression, this performance. He ain't saying nothing, and it's a scene stealer. I'm telling you, he definitely steals this first episode, and I'm pretty sure, I almost feeling like he gonna steal the show. Probably he gonna end up stealing the whole show. But it's reminding me of Snowfall with Franklin, and not only when he always jumping up and going off or whatever, it's those expressions, it's those facial expressions, and that's that acting, man. But I had to give John Bethel his flowers, man, early. Give him his flowers early, man, because his performance, once again, a villain that you love to hate. But if he wasn't doing his job, that you wouldn't hate him then. But he's doing his job, and that's why it's just looking at him, and I can't get off the way he looked and the way he just sitting there with that blank expression when he's arrested, man. But yeah, this show is definitely going to be interesting to see everything they doing. The time jumps, I'm hoping I don't get confused on. And I'm sorry if I did sound like I was a little confused, because I wasn't confused, but it was just trying to follow everything that was going on, making sure I was keeping up with everything, because I'm making sure I wasn't getting lost, especially when they was doing the whole thing with my man in the investigation room, because I was almost thinking, was this 2015? No, this 2017, because they showed a camera time and whatever, date and time on the camera or whatever that they showing from the view or whatever. But the show is definitely going to be interesting. And this is not The Wire, but it definitely has those vibes. Even from the opening credits and that music, it definitely has those Wire vibes, man. But like I said, the standout, and I feel like this is going to be definitely more of a cop show. It's just a limited series. This is not something that seems like it's going to be based on doing multiple series. So we probably not going to get too much as far as the streets, as far as stories from the streets, sides of the streets, as far as like we did with like Omar, like we did with Avon, or like we did with like Marlo and them. So we probably not gonna get those perspectives, because this is mainly based off this gun trace task force and everything they had going on as far as the corruption and what was going on surrounding the whole Freddie Gray death and situation. But it's definitely got my attention, and it's definitely one of the ones I'm definitely going to be following, and I'm definitely going to be keeping up with, man. Once again, just John Bethel's performance as this Sergeant Wayne Jenkins got me definitely in tune for it. But y'all let me know how y'all feel about this first episode. Like I said, I'm sorry if I didn't bring up a little bit more, especially everything involving the other cops that was involved in the Bad Batch of Heron. They definitely, I feel like, gonna have a lot more going on as far as the series moving forward. But I definitely gonna be talking about them a lot more. But it's certain things that going on with them where you like, what the hell is going on? Because my man finds like this tracer that he put under somebody's vehicle that they following as far as this drug dealer. But then once again, you go back to finding out about these certain cops. They got certain things going on, and it's like, oh, so they was doing that so they can pull this little heist off, or this little robbery off that they was doing. So it's a lot of little twisted turns that they got going on too. And that's the thing that I enjoy too, not knowing these certain situations. Like I said, once we introduced to this guy, I didn't know he was a cop, and everything that leads up to finding out that he is a cop, because we had a whole scene with they in the club celebrating and everything. And like I said, I'm thinking this is 2015, and this is the investigation that they doing with him is 2017. But it's going to be real interesting to see the build up, especially I'm guessing that we're going to do with John Bethel's character as far as him coming from being a beat cop to him coming up to being a sergeant as far as that Wayne Jenkins character or whatever. But like I said, y'all let me know in the comment section how y'all feeling about this being. If y'all are fans of The Wire, if y'all have checked this out. And if you haven't checked this out, let me know if you plan on checking it out. It's definitely one of those shows that you definitely need to watch. Other than that, let me know in the comment section, man. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed to the channel. Make sure you hit that notification bell, let you know when I upload new videos. Other than that, man, this is the road to 500 subs. Make sure you tune in a new episode of Uncut Ish Talk Friday at 9 p.m. live on YouTube and Twitch. We definitely going to be talking more about this. Other than that, man, we out.
Drug war justifies a lot.
This is a dysfunctional police department with a culture that looks at accountability as a four-letter word.
I told you weeks ago about a federal investigation.
There's always a rumor of a federal investigation. This shit never happens. It's Baltimore.
This shit been going on for a long while. We just followed the leader.
Am I going to lose my job over this?
Look around. We built this machine where half the damn country part with money and power.
Ask me, do I want a problem?
No, I don't think you
I don't ever want a problem. But when they say they want a problem, I say no problem. That's it. It makes people feel like I want trouble because I don't have a problem.